Story 1. I've been working as a cruise director for Ocean Star Cruise Lines for about 8 years now. I got into this job because I love traveling and working with people, plus the opportunity to see different parts of the world while getting paid was too good to pass up. My job involves coordinating activities, handling passenger complaints, and basically making sure everyone has a good time during their vacation. Most passengers are pretty reasonable, even when things don't go perfectly, but every now and then, you get someone who thinks a cruise ship with 3,000 people on board should cater to their personal needs. Last month, we were on day 2 of a 7-day Caribbean cruise when I had one of the most bizarre encounters of my career. We had left Port Canaveral the previous evening and were already about 150 miles out to sea, heading toward our first stop in Nassau. The weather was perfect, and most passengers were settling into their vacation routine. I was doing my morning rounds, checking on various activities and making sure everything was running smoothly, when one of our guest services staff found me near the pool deck. "Staff member, we have a situation in the captain's quarters. There's a passenger demanding to speak with him directly." Me, what's the issue? Staff member, she wants the ship to turn around and go back to Florida. I thought there must be some kind of family emergency, so I headed up to the bridge deck where our security had escorted the passenger. When I got there, I found a woman in her 50s pacing back and forth outside the captain's office. "Me, ma'am, I'm the cruise director. I understand you wanted to speak with the captain." "Karen, finally, someone with authority. I need this ship turned around immediately." "Me, is everything all right? Is there a family emergency?" "Karen, I forgot my handbag at home. We need to go back so I can get it." I thought I had misheard her. "Me, I'm sorry. Did you say you forgot your handbag?" "Karen, yes, my Louis Vuitton handbag. It has all my important things in it." "Me, ma'am, we're already a full day out to sea. We can't turn around for personal items." "Karen, why not? I paid good money for this cruise. The least you can do is accommodate your paying customers." That's when Captain Rodriguez came out of his office. He's been sailing for over 30 years and has seen everything, but even he looked confused. "Captain, what seems to be the problem here?" "Karen, Captain, thank goodness. I need you to turn this ship around right now." "Captain, turn around. For what reason?" "Karen, I left my handbag at home. It has my prescription medications, my jewelry, and my credit cards." "Captain, ma'am, we're currently 150 miles from port. Turning around would delay our entire itinerary and affect 3,000 other passengers." "Karen, I don't care about other passengers. I care about my handbag. Do you know how much that bag cost?" "Captain, ma'am, if you need prescription medication, our medical center can help you get replacements at our next port." "Karen, I don't want replacements. I want my actual handbag. It's a limited edition." I tried to offer some solutions. "Me, we have a gift shop on board with everything you might need. And you can call your credit card companies to report the cards and get new ones issued." "Karen, you're not listening to me. I want my handbag. The one I left at home." "Captain, ma'am, I cannot turn around this ship for a personal item. We have a schedule to maintain and thousands of other passengers to consider." "Karen, this is ridiculous. I'm a platinum member of your cruise line. I've been on 12 cruises with you people." "Captain, I appreciate your loyalty, but even if you were the owner of the cruise line, I couldn't turn around for a handbag." That's when she completely lost it. "Karen, you people are the worst customer service I've ever experienced. I demand a full refund, and I'm going to post about this on every travel website." "Captain, that's your right, ma'am, but the ship is not turning around." "Karen, fine. Then I want to be helicoptered off this ship so I can fly home and get my bag." "Me, ma'am, we're in the middle of the ocean. Helicopter evacuation is only for medical emergencies." "Karen, this is a medical emergency. I need my anxiety medication that's in my purse." "Captain, our ship's doctor can evaluate you and provide appropriate medication if needed." "Karen, I don't want ship medication. I want my own medication from my own handbag. The argument continued for another 20 minutes. She demanded to speak to the company president, threatened lawsuits, and even suggested we could just quickly swing by Florida like it was a roadside stop. Finally, security had to escort her away when she started disrupting other passengers who were trying to enjoy the deck activities. Later that day, I found out the real story from her traveling companion. The handbag she was so desperate to retrieve wasn't actually forgotten at home. She had brought it on the cruise, but left it in a restaurant at the port before boarding. She was too embarrassed to admit she'd lost track of it during the pre-cruise chaos, so she made up the story about forgetting it at home. The best part came when we reached Nassau. She spent the entire day shopping for a replacement handbag, proving that all her irreplaceable items weren't really that irreplaceable after all. She even bought a knockoff of the same designer bag she claimed to have left at home. For the rest of the cruise, she acted like the whole incident never happened and seemed to enjoy herself just fine without her essential handbag. Story 2. I moved into this house about 3 years ago, after my back injury forced me to take early retirement from construction work. The place came with a decent-sized yard, but between my physical limitations and my tight budget, I knew I'd need help maintaining it. That's when I found Miguel, a local landscaper who's been taking care of lawns in this neighborhood for over 15 years. Miguel is honestly one of the hardest working people I've ever met. He shows up every other Wednesday morning at 9 sharp, does a thorough job on my lawn, trims the hedges, and even helps with seasonal cleanup. His rates are fair, his work is excellent, and all my neighbors have used him at some point. He's the kind of guy who remembers your name, asks about your family, and takes pride in making every yard look perfect. The woman who moved in next door about 8 months ago had different opinions about Miguel's work ethic. She made that clear pretty much immediately. I was sitting on my back porch the first Wednesday after she moved in, watching Miguel edge around my flower beds, when she appeared at the fence between our properties. "Karen, excuse me. This noise is completely unacceptable." Miguel looked up from the edger, confused. He turned it off to hear what she was saying. "Miguel, I'm sorry, did you need something?" "Karen, I need you to stop making that racket. Some of us are trying to work from home." "Miguel, I'll be finished in about 20 minutes. Ma'am, I always try to work as quickly as possible." "Karen, 20 minutes is 20 minutes too long. This noise pollution is disrupting my entire day." I walked over to see what the problem was. "Is everything okay over here?" "Karen, your landscaper is creating a hostile work environment with all this noise. I have important calls scheduled." Miguel's been doing lawns in this neighborhood for years. He's here every other Wednesday morning. It's never been a problem before." "Karen, well, it's a problem now. I demand that he reschedule for a time that doesn't interfere with my business operations." Miguel and I just looked at each other. The guy works 6 days a week managing dozens of properties. He can't reschedule every job because one person doesn't like the sound of lawn equipment. He's doing his job during normal daytime hours. There's nothing unreasonable about that. "Karen, we'll see about that." 2 weeks later, Miguel was back for his regular visit. I was inside making coffee when I heard shouting from the front yard. I looked out the window and saw her marching across my lawn toward Miguel, who was running the mower near the street. She walked right up to the mower and started waving her arms at him. Miguel stopped the engine, probably thinking she was in danger or something. "Karen, I told you 2 weeks ago that this noise is unacceptable. You're fired." "Miguel, ma'am, I don't work for you. I work for your neighbor." "Karen, I don't care who hired you. You're disrupting the peace of this entire neighborhood. Pack up your equipment and leave." "Miguel, I have a job to do here. If you have a problem with the noise, you can call your neighbor." "Karen, don't you dare talk back to me. I'm reporting you to your supervisor." "Miguel, I'm self-employed." "Ma'am, I am the supervisor." I walked outside to defuse the situation before it got worse. "What's going on out here?" "Karen, Your landscaper is refusing to follow my instructions. He's being insubordinate. Me, he doesn't work for you. He works for me, and I want him to finish my lawn. Karen, this noise ordinance violation affects everyone on the street. I have authority to enforce community standards. Miguel looked at me with this expression that said he'd dealt with difficult customers before, but nothing quite like this. Me, there's no noise ordinance violation. It's 10 in the morning on a Wednesday. People are allowed to mow their lawns. Karen, I'm calling the police, and the city, and whoever licenses landscaping businesses. She stomped back to her house, while Miguel and I stood there trying to process what had just happened. Miguel, in 15 years of doing this job, I've never had someone try to fire me from someone else's property. Me, just ignore her. Finish the lawn whenever you're ready. But she wasn't done. Over the next hour, while Miguel worked, she called the police, the city's noise control department, and apparently tried to report him to some kind of landscaping board that doesn't exist. Officer Thompson showed up about 20 minutes before Miguel finished. Officer Thompson, someone called about excessive noise and an unlicensed contractor. Me, that's my landscaper. He's been doing lawns in this neighborhood for 15 years. Miguel, I have all my licenses and insurance. Officer, I can show you the paperwork. Karen, this man refuses to follow noise regulations. He's creating a public disturbance. Officer Thompson, sir, what time did you start working? Miguel, about 9:15. Officer. Officer Thompson, ma'am, there's no noise ordinance restricting lawn maintenance during daytime hours. This is perfectly legal. Karen, but my work, my concentration, I have rights. Officer Thompson, you have the right to close your windows or use earplugs. The best part came the following week. Miguel mentioned that 3 other neighbors had asked him about the incident because they were worried she might cause problems for him on their properties too. They all decided to schedule their lawn service for the same day. So last Wednesday, Miguel showed up with 2 of his crew members, and they did 4 lawns on our street simultaneously. The sound of 3 mowers and 2 edgers running at once was actually pretty impressive. She came outside screaming about coordinated harassment and neighborhood conspiracies, but by then everyone just ignored her. Miguel finished all 4 lawns in record time, and the whole street looked absolutely perfect. She moved out 2 months later. Apparently, she found a nice quiet apartment complex where landscaping is handled by the management company at 6 in the morning before anyone's awake to complain. Story 3. I've been working as a pediatric nurse at Children's Memorial Hospital for 12 years. I've seen families at their most vulnerable moments, dealt with medical emergencies, and comforted countless worried parents. But nothing in my training prepared me for what happened last Wednesday afternoon. Let me give you some context about our ward. With a pediatric oncology unit, we treat kids with cancer. These aren't children with scraped knees or broken arms. These are seriously ill kids fighting for their lives. Our patients range from toddlers to teenagers, and many of them have compromised immune systems from chemotherapy. We have strict protocols about visitors, cleanliness, and who can enter the ward because infections that might be minor for healthy people can be life-threatening for our patients. Wednesday was particularly busy. We had 3 kids scheduled for chemotherapy treatments, 1 child recovering from surgery, and a 6-year-old girl named Emma who was having a really rough day with her treatment side effects. Emma had been battling leukemia for 8 months, and her parents had been at her bedside for the past 3 days straight because she developed a fever and couldn't keep food down. I was checking Emma's Roman 4 when I heard shouting from the hallway. Our ward is usually pretty quiet. We try to keep it peaceful for the kids and families, so loud voices immediately get everyone's attention. Voice from hallway, where are the doctors? I need to see a doctor right now. I stepped out of Emma's room to see what was happening. A woman I'd never seen before was marching down our hallway, past the big signs that clearly mark our ward as Pediatric Oncology Authorized Personnel Only. Me, excuse me, ma'am, this is a restricted ward. Are you here to visit a patient? Karen, I don't care what kind of ward this is. I need to see a doctor immediately. She was holding a tissue to her nose and looked like she had a basic cold runny nose, maybe a slight cough. Nothing that looked serious at all. Me, ma'am, if you need medical attention, the emergency room is on the first floor. This is the children's cancer ward. Karen, I know where I am, and I know that there are doctors up here who can help me. At this point, other families in the hallway were starting to stare. One father, whose 8-year-old son was getting treatment, looked absolutely horrified that someone was bringing germs into the ward. Me, I'm sorry, but our doctors only treat pediatric cancer patients. You really need to go to the emergency room. Karen, I've been waiting down there for 2 hours. This is ridiculous. I just have a cold. Me, ma'am, you cannot be in this ward with cold symptoms. These children have compromised immune systems. Karen, oh please, it's just a runny nose. These kids will be fine. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This woman was literally bringing infectious illness into a cancer ward and acting like it was no big deal. Me, security is going to escort you out if you don't leave immediately. Karen, I'm not leaving until someone examines me. I pay taxes. I deserve medical care. That's when Dr. Martinez, our head of oncology, came out of another patient's room. He'd been checking on a teenage boy who was preparing for a bone marrow transplant, a kid whose immune system was basically non-existent. Dr. Martinez, ma'am, you need to leave this ward immediately. Karen, finally, are you a doctor? I need you to look at my cold. Dr. Martinez, I'm a pediatric oncologist. I treat children with cancer, and you are putting every child on this ward at risk by being here with respiratory symptoms. Karen, that's ridiculous. It's just a cold. These kids have cancer, obviously. That's worse than what I have. Dr. Martinez, exactly. Which is why a simple cold virus from you could kill one of my patients. I watched Karen's face as she processed this. For a moment, I thought she might actually understand the severity of what she was doing. But then she doubled down. Karen, well then see me first so I can get out of here faster. It's more efficient. Dr. Martinez, ma'am, I don't treat adults. Period. And you are currently putting children's lives at risk. By now, security had arrived. Our head of security, a former police officer named Mike, doesn't mess around when it comes to protecting our patients. Mike, ma'am, I need you to come with me right now. Karen, this is discrimination. I'm sick and I need help. Mike, you can get help in the appropriate department. This is not it. Karen looked around at all of us, me, Dr. Martinez, Mike, the other families who were watching in shock. Karen, fine, but I'm reporting all of you for refusing to treat a sick person. As Mike was escorting her toward the elevator, Karen had one final outburst. Karen, those kids aren't even that sick. They're just sitting in their rooms. I'm the one who's actually suffering. The father whose son was getting treatment actually stepped forward. Father, my son hasn't been able to eat solid food in 6 weeks because of chemotherapy. Your cold will be gone in a few days. Karen, well, maybe if you people took better care of your kids, they wouldn't be sick. That's when Mike physically guided her into the elevator before anyone could respond to that horrific comment. After she left, I had to go around to each family and assure them that she hadn't been in contact with any of the patients. Emma's mother was particularly worried. Mother, could she have infected Emma just by being in the hallway? Me, we're going to monitor everyone extra carefully, but she didn't enter any patient rooms. Emma should be fine. Dr. Martinez called a meeting with all the staff about the incident. Dr. Martinez, we need to review our security protocols. That woman could have caused serious harm to our patients. The next day, our hospital administrator told us that Karen had indeed filed a complaint, claiming we'd refused to treat her because she was an adult. The complaint was dismissed immediately when they reviewed the security footage and saw her barging into a pediatric cancer ward with cold symptoms. Administrator, she actually tried to argue that her cold was more urgent than children's cancer treatments. A week later, We got word that Karen had been banned from the entire hospital system after she tried the same thing at 2 other hospitals in the city. Emma made it through her treatment cycle without any complications. Her parents sent thank you cards to the entire staff, including security. Sometimes protecting the most vulnerable means standing firm against people who think their minor inconveniences are more important than other people's lives. Story 4. I've been working at this clothing store for about a year and a half now. It's a mid-range women's fashion store in the mall. Nothing too fancy, but we carry decent quality clothes. I took this job right after high school because I needed to save money before starting community college. The pay isn't great, but the employee discount helps, and I've learned a lot about dealing with different types of people. Most customers are pretty normal. They try things on, buy what fits, and leave. But working retail teaches you that some people think the world revolves around them. I thought I'd seen it all until that Wednesday afternoon. It was a slow weekday, just me and my manager working the floor. We had maybe 3 other customers browsing around when she walked in. She looked like she meant business, carrying a huge purse and wearing expensive jewelry. She went straight to our sale rack and started grabbing armfuls of dresses, blouses, and pants. She wasn't even looking at sizes, just taking everything that caught her eye. Me, hi there, can I help you find anything specific? Karen, I need to try all of these on. Where are your fitting rooms? I showed her to our fitting room area. We have 4 small rooms, and 2 were already occupied by other customers. Me, here you go. You can use room 3. Just let me know if you need different sizes. She marched into the fitting room with her mountain of clothes and slammed the door shut. I heard the lock click immediately. About 5 minutes later, she started shouting from inside. Karen, I need this dress in a size 6. Me, which dress is that? Karen, the blue one with flowers. I looked through our blue floral dresses and brought her a size 6. Me, here you go. I knocked on the door, but she didn't open it. Karen, just leave it outside the door. This was unusual. Normally people open the door to take new items, but I left it outside and went back to helping other customers. 10 minutes later, she was shouting again. Karen, I need this same dress in a size 8, and that black top in a size medium. I brought her the items and left them outside her door. The other customers were starting to look annoyed because she was being so loud. This pattern continued for the next hour. Every few minutes she'd demand a different size of something. She never opened the door, just made me leave everything outside. The pile of clothes outside her fitting room kept growing. Customer 1. Is she ever coming out? I need to try these jeans on. Me. I'm sure she'll be done soon. But she wasn't done. Another hour passed, and she kept demanding more sizes. She tried on practically every dress in the store in multiple sizes. Karen, bring me the red sweater in small, medium, and large. I can't decide which fits better. Customer 2. This is ridiculous. I've been waiting 45 minutes to use a fitting room. My manager finally intervened. Manager, ma'am, other customers need to use the fitting rooms. How much longer do you need? Karen, I'll take as long as I want. I'm trying to make a big purchase here. Manager, you've been in there for 2 hours. You need to make a decision or give other customers a turn. Karen, no, I'm not done yet. Bring me that striped shirt in every size you have. At this point, we had a line of frustrated customers waiting to try things on. The pile of rejected clothes outside her door was enormous. Manager, ma'am, I need you to open this door and let other customers use the fitting room. Karen, I'm not opening this door until I find the perfect outfit. Manager, if you don't come out in 5 minutes, I'm calling security. Karen, you can't make me leave. I'm a paying customer. Customer 3, you haven't paid for anything yet. After her 5 minutes were up, my manager called mall security. 2 guards showed up and knocked on the fitting room door. Security guard 1, ma'am, you need to exit the fitting room immediately. Karen, I have rights. I'm shopping. Security guard 2, You're preventing other customers from using the facilities. Come out now, or we'll have to remove the door. Karen, you can't remove the door. That's illegal. But mall security had master keys. They unlocked the door from the outside, and she came stumbling out, wearing her own clothes and looking furious. Karen, this is harassment. I'm going to sue all of you. She was standing there surrounded by probably 50 items of clothing she'd demanded in different sizes. Manager, are you purchasing any of these items? Karen, no, nothing fit right. Your sizes are all wrong. Security escorted her out of the store while she screamed about calling corporate and the Better Business Bureau. She was banned from the mall permanently. The other customers started applauding as soon as she left. We spent the next hour reorganizing all the clothes she'd scattered around. Story 5. I work as a concierge at Riverside Medical Plaza, a 15-story building that houses various doctors' offices, physical therapy clinics, and medical labs. Been here for about 4 years now after I finished my hospitality management degree. It's not glamorous work, but I help people navigate what can be a stressful experience when they're dealing with health issues. My job involves everything from giving directions to managing deliveries and handling building maintenance requests. I sit at the front desk in the main lobby, and I've seen just about everything. Nervous patients, frustrated family members, delivery drivers trying to find the right office. Most people are dealing with enough stress without adding building navigation to their problems. The building has 2 elevators that serve all 15 floors. During busy periods, especially mid-morning when most appointments are scheduled, there can be decent wait times. People generally understand this and are patient, especially since many of our visitors are elderly or mobility impaired. That Tuesday morning started normally. I was helping an elderly couple find the cardiology office on the 9th floor when I noticed her. Middle-aged woman with perfectly styled hair, expensive workout clothes, and that particular stance that screamed entitlement. She was standing with a boy who looked about 10 years old, completely normal kid playing on his phone. The elevator arrived, and several people who'd been waiting started to board. That's when she made her move. Karen, stop. Nobody else is getting on this elevator. She literally spread her arms wide, blocking the elevator entrance like she was guarding Fort Knox. The people trying to board stopped in confusion. Confused patient, excuse me. Karen, my son has anxiety about crowded spaces. He needs to ride alone. I got up from my desk and walked over, thinking maybe I could help resolve whatever the issue was. Me, ma'am, is there a problem I can help with? Karen, yes, I need to reserve this elevator for my son. He can't handle being around strangers in small spaces. Me, I understand that can be challenging, but this is a public building. The elevators are shared by all visitors. The people who'd been trying to board were getting impatient. One elderly man with a walker was clearly struggling to stand while waiting. Karen, I don't care. My son's mental health is more important than their convenience. Patient with walker, lady, some of us have medical appointments to get to. Karen, then take the stairs. My son is a priority here. I looked at the kid, who seemed mortified by his mother's behavior. He was tugging on her sleeve and whispering something, but she ignored him. Son, Mom, it's okay. I don't mind sharing the elevator. Karen, don't be ridiculous, sweetheart. These people don't understand your needs like I do. Me, ma'am, if your son has specific medical needs, I can call his doctor's office and see if they have any suggestions for accommodating him. Karen, his needs are simple, a private elevator ride. Is that too much to ask? More people were gathering behind us, creating a crowd in the lobby. The second elevator was on an upper floor, and people were starting to get frustrated. Another patient, this is ridiculous. Move out of the way. Karen, I'm not moving until you guarantee my son gets a private ride. That's when building security arrived. Our head of security had been watching the situation unfold on the lobby cameras and decided to intervene. Security guard, ma'am, you can't block access to the elevator. You need to either board or step aside. Karen, I'm protecting my son's right to reasonable accommodation under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Security guard, the ADA doesn't give you the right to prevent other people from using public elevators. Meanwhile, her son was looking increasingly upset, not because of elevator anxiety, but because his mother was making a scene in front of everyone. Son, Mom, please stop. I just want to go to my appointment. Karen, you see? He's getting distressed because of all these people pressuring him. Patient, the kid is distressed because you're acting crazy. That comment set Karen off completely. She started yelling about discrimination and threatening to sue everyone in sight. The security guard had clearly had enough. Security guard, ma'am, I'm going to ask you to leave the building. You're disrupting medical services for other patients. Karen, you can't kick me out. My son has a legitimate appointment. Security guard, then he can attend it with you behaving appropriately, or he can reschedule. The whole time, the kid was getting more embarrassed. Finally, he spoke up louder than his whispered protests. Son, Mom, just get on the elevator with everyone else. I don't care who else is on it. Karen, don't let them pressure you, honey. You deserve special treatment. Son, I don't want special treatment. I want to go to my appointment and go home. The second elevator finally arrived, and the security guard escorted Karen and her son onto it along with several other patients. She continued complaining loudly as the doors closed. About 30 minutes later, they came back down. Apparently, the doctor's office had been called about the lobby incident, and after speaking with both mother and son, they determined the boy had no documented anxiety issues that would require elevator accommodations. The kid looked relieved when they left. I heard him asking his mom if they could just use the stairs next time, which made everyone in the lobby chuckle. The security guard pulled me aside afterward and mentioned that Karen had been flagged in their system for similar incidents at other medical buildings downtown. Apparently, she had a habit of demanding special accommodations for problems that didn't actually exist. The best part came later that afternoon when the boy's doctor called our front desk. He wanted to apologize for the disruption and confirmed that the child had no medical conditions requiring private elevator access. He also mentioned that he'd recommended family counseling to address what he diplomatically called communication issues. We never saw Karen again, but her son started coming to appointments with his dad instead. Nice kid, perfectly capable of sharing an elevator with other people, just like everyone else.